Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Aaron the Trucking Guy. This is your spot for everything trucking. I got a little bit of time today to make some videos. I'm dropping some bombs, some gems on you guys today. If you like this channel or this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Let's get right into it. This video is going to be about should you open a brokerage or should you open a trucking company at first, right? I'm going to get right into this and kind of explain it, man. I tell you what, this content is so valuable. I've done both. I've had both. I know a lot of people who have both and who have partnered with it. Obviously, you can see some of the conglomerates have a brokerage and a trucking company, right? A brokerage, what that does, for those of you who don't know, is you go out and find a customer, Billy's Hot Tub Factory. You agree to ship Billy's Hot Tubs. You have no trucks. You take that. You either partner with somebody who has trucks. You find a carrier or a trucking company. You put those loads on. You book them for $1,000. Give them to him for $800. Take $200. You put the hot tubs on the trucking company that you partner with, and or you put those hot tubs on a load board. Some random guy calls you with a truck and says, "Hey, I'll move your hot tubs for $800. You settle on $900 or whatever. It doesn't matter. You negotiate your rates." You make money basically by going out and being a talent and bringing home the bacon, right? You bring home the food and you help the trucks eat, okay? It's a very important aspect of the business. A trucking company is someone who has their own authority, a DOT number, brand, and has trucks and or owner-operators. They control the trucks. They control what we call the assets. You have asset-based companies, which is companies that hold and own trucks, and you have non-asset-based companies, which means that basically they don't have any assets, okay? They might have a bunch of owner-operators. They might have a few trailers, no trailers. The owner-operators own the truck and the trailer. They just operate the authority, handle the back office, kind of like a Landstar situation, where Landstar has a bunch of trailers, so they have some assets. But basically, they wouldn't own the trucks or the trailers, and they purely just move the freight and help handle the back office, a lot of other stuff, compliance with the trucks. So that's trucking company, asset-based, non-asset-based, and that's brokerage. Okay. So, which one would you want to open? You see a lot of stuff online, on Google, on Facebook, on YouTube. Open a brokerage. Open a brokerage. It's so easy. Open a trucking company. Open a truck company. You can do it so easy, right? Which one costs less, in my opinion? Obviously, the brokerage does, because you don't need an insurance. You can get what's called contingency cargo, but by law, FMCSA requires the trucking company to hold the insurance, right? So they have the big insurance. You have what's called a bond as a broker. You're supposed to go out and get a bond. If you don't know what a bond is, look it up. You got to be bonded to be a contractor in certain states, other industries, real estate, broker, this, that. You got to be bonded, right? A bond is basically an insurance policy. There's somebody makes a claim. They go to a claiming, situation. They claim against your bond. You don't have no say so. The bond looks at it, sees if it's a legitimate claim. They make the person whole, paying them the money, the amount of the bond that you bought or put up, and then the bonding company comes after you. So you don't have to go to court. It's just a way around it. Most places require it because there's so much fraud and people ripping people off. So a broker's required to have a bond. Trucking companies required to have insurance, not required to have a bond. Bonds are easily attainable, but they're credit-based. If you have bad credit, you might not be able to get one at all, or it's going to be really expensive to buy one. They finance them. Okay, $75,000 bond you might get for $5 grand, $2 grand, $1,500, whatever, depending on what your credit is. And they have payment plans. You can finance them out, things like that. So some companies are going to require brokerages to have contingency cargo insurance, which is not as expensive as carrier insurance or liability insurance for a trucking company. Trucking companies have trucks. They're more at risk. The contingency cargo is going to cover the load in the event that the trucking company insurance does not cover it. So it's just a backup insurance, basically. But some companies require it, but the law does not require it as of right now. Okay. Having a brokerage, if you open up a brokerage and you put out, say, $5 grand-ish, you need a website, build out, know how to do it, contracts, packets, TMS software, maybe things like that, unless you're going to run out of a notebook in your bathroom. Doesn't matter how you do it. A brokerage basically is you got to go beat the bushes every day and get customers. You're the talent. Okay, that means every day you're going to sell, or you ain't going to make no money. Okay? And then you got to also go get trucks, partner with trucks, because you might throw stuff on the load board and you didn't sell it right. Nobody's going to call you. Nobody's going to book it. I know I've been in situations where I booked the load and I thought, man, I'll just throw it on the load board if I can't cover it. I couldn't get a truck over there, going to throw it on the load board. Nobody wants the load. Not because it was a bad load. They just wanted something that paid better, and there was a lot of stuff that paid better. And it was in an area where the truck to load ratio wasn't very good. So you've got more trucks, less loads. The load price is going to go down. Why? Because there's more trucks that are willing to fight over the scraps. There's less trucks, more loads. The load price is going to go up because there's not enough trucks, and the brokers want to move the stuff. The customers need it moved, and they need to get a truck. So they're willing to compete for your business. Markets change. It's very important being a broker or being a trucking company that you place your trucks in strategic areas, okay, based on load to truck ratios. If you go to bad areas, say you're in the desert, there's nothing out there, and there's 10 trucks in the desert, no loads, well, what are you going to do? There's nothing to do, right? You got to go somewhere else. Or if you did find a load, it would be a garbage paying load. The way they see it, they're helping you out to buy your fuel, even though you got to work for them and carry their load to somewhere else. They're paying your fuel to get you out of there, is the way they see it. They think they're doing you a favor. Even if they sold that load for, say, $3,000 and they give it to you for $1,000, they're making $2,000 on it, but they have every right to. They went and got the load, so you can't hate them. A lot of people hate brokers. You should not hate them because they're a necessary evil. Without them, and I say that kind of like willy-nilly because they're not evil, guys. There's a lot of really good brokers, a lot of good business, good brokerages that do a great job, and they're a necessity because without them, you wouldn't be able to have access to the freight. They can say, oh, we'll put a load board up and the customers will put it direct. All these other things that they've talked about to cut the broker out. At the end of the day, it's just not workable. It's not feasible. Customers don't have the time, don't want to employ the staff, don't have the talent or the capability to buy, to bid on and move freight. Okay, they just don't know how. And they don't want to. Or they're not smart enough. Or they don't have the capacity to do it. Okay? So at the end of the day, there's going to be a broker who wants to do it, right? Because the broker can make money. Now, knowing this, one thing that's very important here, I hope you guys stayed to this part of the video, is 85% or 89% right now, the FMCSA says trucking companies, 85 to 89% go out in the first year out of business, okay? Brokerages, 90% go out of business in the first 90 days. Those are some crazy statistics for you guys, okay? Crazy. That means that 90%, if you open a brokerage, you have a 10% chance to make it past 90 days. 10% based on studies and statistics, okay, by highly rated, people who are looking at this and seeing the MCs going in and out, okay. If you open a trucking company, you have a 10 to 15% chance of making it, okay, in the first year, but you have more time and more of a chance than you do being a broker. The reason why being a broker is so hard is because there's so many people doing it. It's a saturated market. You got to go beat the bushes and get work and knock doors. You got to knock doors and bang phones and get clients, right? The problem is those people that you're marketing to are getting hit every single day, dozens and dozens of times a day by rookie brokers. So they just get tired of it and they don't take them serious. So you'd have to have something really originated, really original or really creative, to get their attention, okay? Or it may take 8 follow-ups. They say a lot of business is done on the 8th follow-up. It's a proven statistic. So if you didn't follow up 8 times, you're not going to get the client or get the customer. That's true in roofing sales and car sales, just about anything. Okay, those are statistics you can go look up, guys. The 8th follow-up, okay, is traditionally when business is done. But at the end of the day, if you're not excited every day, you're not closing every day, you're not going to make any money, okay? If you're not closing these clients and doing what you got to do, you're not going to make any money, so you get discouraged quickly. After 3 months, you can't hardly keep paying the contingency cargo, the bond payment, website payments or whatever, your rent, mortgage, so you give up because you didn't make any money. If you wasn't set up to make it last 6 months to a year, it's a risky business to start. Some brokerages are opened from trucking companies to move the freight that people are calling them about. They're calling all the time, hey, can you move our freight? Can you move our freight? Can you move our freight? And they don't have trucks in the area, so they put it on the load board. It's a way to diversify a trucking company by moving freight, okay, that you have an excess of. You don't have any trucks in that area, can't get them there fast enough, or you get a customer and you only have 5 trucks. It takes at least 5 trucks to get a good customer, guys. If you have a customer and they call you, all your trucks are on the other side of the country or whatever, you want to keep that customer happy. So you say, let me throw it on the load board and see what I can do. I can get a truck over there. Now, primarily, you haul their stuff, but you just didn't have a truck in the area at that time. So it's good to have that load board, to build relationships, to build clients, to build customers, okay? Not load board, it's good to have that brokerage for that, but it's expensive to do that because it might cost you money for the first couple years that you don't even use it. You purely use it for that and that alone. But that only makes you $1,000 bucks on that one load, but the brokerage costs you $5,000 a year, $6,000 a year to own and operate, okay? Plus you have, liability there. So unless you're really moving a bunch of loads, the brokerage doesn't make sense for a trucking company. It's a liability, but it helps you keep that customer happy. You may be making a bunch of money from that customer and you like those high paying loads, so this gives you the ability to move their freight when you're in a bind. Now, to to open up a trucking company, let's talk about that. We talked about the brokerage and what it costs and the statistics of going out of business, and you have to be excited every day and sell, or you're not going to make any money, right? Opening up a trucking company, there's many different ways to do it. But one, say you have one truck, one trailer, you need insurance, okay? The minimum insurance you need is a million liability and 100,000 cargo. You do not need physical damage or any asset bobtail on your policy. So that's the minimum. You can get into that if you have decent credit for a down payment in the $3,000 range, typically for a new MC. And you're off to the races and you're paying $1,500 a month, okay? But the difference is you have equipment that you also have a payment on, maybe a truck, trailer, put a couple things on a credit card, whatever. But that's pretty much all it costs to start up. Is to follow your MC is like $300 unless you pay a company to do it. Your BOC3 is like 50, 60, $100, whatever. Different services provided. And if you pay somebody to do it, you can pay them a few, $300, $400 to file your MC. Your DOT number is free. LLC you can do for $100 if you're smart, know how to do it. LegalZoom price is $300, $400, $500 depending on where you're at, what state, things like that, and what all you add to it, process server, and what you do. So it can cost anywhere from a pure insurance payment, open an MC, website, truck, trailer, if you already have a truck and trailer or you're outsourcing it, maybe 10 grand to start a trucking company. Okay, that's with one truck and getting rolling. You can get one truck and semi and bobtail for somebody else, pull their trailers, you can get a hot shot, whatever, it doesn't matter. So about 10 grand. So it costs a little bit more money to start than a brokerage, obviously, but you don't have to get up every day and be excited about going and selling work. All you got to do is get on a load board and book a load with somebody who's out selling work, who has the loads, who's really excited, maybe really good at it, or whatever, or has a really good paying load, and you start making money. Day one. It takes 30 days for your authority to go active by law to be a trucking company. So if you plan on starting, just realize there's going to be a buffer there of 30 days that you can't get over. Once 30 days is up, you can hit the road rolling, but the first year is going to be hard because there's a lot of brokerages, customers, and companies that do not want to work with new trucking companies that are less established than 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, and 1 year. Everybody's different. Some will work with you, some won't. But you're not going to get the high-paying freight because they consider you a rookie, even though you may have came from another company or been partners in another company or drove for 20 years. When you start your new company, they look at you as a rookie. Insurance and business loans, bank loans, all look at you as a new startup business for 3 years. After 3 years, you've become a seasoned business, is the way they clarify it, okay? So if you want to get loans, unless you have really great credit, I mean a perfect credit score, chances are they're going to look at it as a new business and they don't really want to get into new businesses. They don't want to get into trucking businesses because their underwriters know the statistics. The statistics are 89% failure rate in the first year, right? So why would they want to loan you money on something they know has a 90% failure rate? They would rather put that money into a better return commodity or industry that they know they're going to get a better return. A house, a car, whatever, right? Especially with semis, guys. Semis, they want experience, they want CDLs, they want a plan. They want, have you been doing it for a while so that they can kind of know, because of the high risk, that their investment is going to be secure. So it's very tough to get funding. It's very tough to get insurance. It's very tough to maintain insurance, maintain a safety score. If you come in and you don't get a consultant like me, aka the trucking guy, to go to truckingguy.com, we can help you out. Or consult the truckingguy.com, sorry. But, or get with somebody who knows what they're doing, or hire somebody who knows what they're doing, something like that, right? At the end of the day, you have to do those things to be successful. So you have a lot of liability out there because somebody can crash and die if you don't have proper procedures in place. You can go to prison if they're driving your truck, or you can go to prison for manslaughter if you were driving the truck. So it's a lot of liability, guys. If somebody, as a broker, the liability is if somebody crashes your load, you don't have a contingency cargo, and they didn't have insurance because they canceled it, or their insurance doesn't cover it because their driver wasn't listed on the policy that was driving the truck, or a number of things. The cargo is not going to get covered, and you're out 50 grand, 100 grand, 20 grand, whatever the load was. You're screwed. You're pretty mumuch out of business. You're going to go bankrupt, okay? And they're going to sue you and come after your personal assets if you don't have the LLC set up and you're not established. There's liability on both sides of it, okay? But from a business standpoint, even though the failure rate is high, the trucking company is the better option because you don't have to go sell. You don't have to physically wake up every day and go sell the work. You can have somebody else do that for you, and you can book a load board and work 365 days a year, even on Christmas, guys. So you're making money. So that's why I got into it, is because there's never really a slow time. I mean, you might have some slow times where the loads don't pay as much, but you're still working, you're still making money. It's better than being in construction or car sales or whatever, where you're not making money. You're literally working and not making any money. That's what I like about trucking, is you're always making money. Might not be making a little bit, a lot of it, and a whole lot of it, but you're always making something, okay? It all also depends on how you structure your business. You might have a lot of liabilities in your trucking side with assets and costs and insurance and things because your credit wasn't good. I would recommend fixing your credit before starting any business. Or on the brokerage side, you might have a bunch of costs there. An office you rented, computer system, TMS, computers you bought on your credit card at Best Buy, whatever, right? So there's going to be costs incurred in each one, but the trucking company can start making money. You can open up a brokerage later. You got to realize the brokerage, you guys have to really be resilient, because you have to get up every day and go sell the work, sell the work, sell the work. If you're not selling, you ain't making, okay? If you ain't turning, you ain't earning, is what they say in trucking. So if your wheels are broke down or you're not moving, you know, you need to be diversified to have owner-operators if you're going to have a trucking company. One trucking company is insane, because you're one truck or one breakdown from out of business, okay? If you have owner-operators, you diversify your liability or your risk, so that if your truck goes down, the other trucks are helping you make your payments and get your truck fixed, all right? Never have a one-truck trucking company. That's a horrible idea. If you start with one, plan on building to multiple very quickly, okay? I've been there, guys. I've had a 4-truck company, and all 4 of them were broke down at the same time. So it's very important to diversify. It's very important to get the proper education and the proper help to run any business. But that's the difference between broker and trucking, or a brokerage and a trucking company. I would recommend opening a trucking company before a brokerage, even though it might cost a little bit more. The liability aspect, as far as going out of business, is about the same. Only you got 90 days for the brokerage and a year for the trucking company. High risk, guys. These businesses are high risk. They're not low risk. Sometimes it's high reward. You might make a lot of money, but they're high risk, you know. We've been around for a while now. We've beat the statistics. I'm in that other side of the failure rate. You want to get to the other side of the failure rate. How do you do that? There's so many people going out of business every day. Public record, guys. You can go to fmcsa.gov and look up the amount of authorities that were applied for, which is new trucking companies that they wanted to start up. And you can also look at the amount that were closed, okay? There's always a high amount closing, and there's always a high amount starting, because it looks lucrative. It looks enticing. It looks like we're all millionaires. We're not all millionaires, guys. At the end of the day, there's a lot of guys out here been doing this for 20, 30 years, grinding. They're making a good living, providing for their family. And I do recommend getting into the industry, but do it right. Partner with the right people. Know what you need to know. Get an education first, okay? Don't just jump out here, blow a bunch of money, and go broke and make a bunch of mistakes on your own dime. If you're going to make those mistakes, make them on somebody else's dime, and learn the industry, learn the market, learn how it get paid, learn where the money is at, and follow it. And then jump in deeper and deeper and deeper at every aspect if you want to. If you're going to get into a brokerage, I'm not knocking it. Open up a brokerage. You got to be a really excited individual, and I would look at getting agents, young people, or it doesn't really have to be young, I guess, but people that are just ambitious and ready to go beat the bushes and knock doors and bang phones all day, banging phones, cold call. You got to make 500 calls a day to maybe to get one client, okay? But that one client could be $1 million a year client. It could be a $10 million a year client. I've seen guys, one of the brokerage mentees that I'm in a program with, he built I think it was $200 million actually, a $200 million brokerage from zero and sold it off. One of the big dogs bought it. I think King of Freight, or one of them bought him out, his book of business and all his clients, and they're servicing those accounts now. And he walked away, rode into the sunset with, a couple $100 million, $100 million, whatever, a lot of money. You're probably not going to get to that size with a trucking company. You could. It's just difficult, guys. There's reasons to not grow that big in a trucking company. Liability, death. People can die. You can get sued into oblivion. Get put out of business, bankrupt. You can go to prison if you mess around and have mistakes made. The capital is hard to grow because you can't get financing because of the high risk of the industry. It's hard to get financing to get that big. You can get financing for 5, 10 trucks, 20 trucks. Once you get up past that 20 truck mark, the insurance is much different. It's just a whole different deal, okay? it's just very important, guys, to get to a level that's manageable. And getting to a $200 million company in trucking is tough. Okay? You can do it in brokerage, but you got to have an office space. You got to have a ton of people, ton of relationships. Again, go back and watch some of my other videos. You need attention, you need relationships, you need people to come help you, work for you, work with you. You need their services. To do that, you got to have attention. You're not going to get it without attention. So this is my video, guys, on what is better, a trucking company or a brokerage. If you can do both, open the trucking company first and open the brokerage next to, expand and help move your freight that you have access to and excess of. Excuse me. If you open the brokerage first, you want to transition into owning a trucking company. They do not like them to be together because you have two high-risk situations, and they want to mitigate their risk by having the broker over here with the liability and the trucking company over here with liability, so they can spread it out. So insurance companies don't like it. You'd have to get everything separate, the whole nine, separate names, separate LLC, separate offices, separate ownership, separate holdings, separate bank accounts, everything's separate. That's how you're able to do it and maintain both businesses, because insurance companies can drop you if they find out about it, things like that. So it's not something that I really wanted to get into, but it is possible if you wanted to do both. It's definitely a way to diversify, move the freight around, move the freight that you have access to that you can't move, or vice versa. You get in control of the trucks, because if you control the trucks, you can control when they get there, when they move your customers' freight. If you don't control the trucks, it's kind of hard to open up a brokerage and have a brokerage with no trucks. Even if you're, partner with a trucking company or have control of the trucks or asset-based, you have the ability to move a truck over there and take care of your customer instead of just throwing it on a load board and hoping and praying, or praying that the guy that you partner with is going to do what he says. So if you're going to do a brokerage and do it big, eventually you have to have control of the trucks. Whether you partner with somebody who has 20, 50, 100 trucks, or you start buying trucks, or you start a truck company and have owner-operators where you have control of them, that you can make them go over there and get those loads, or focus on that customer and not on other things that pay better or whatever. That's important. So if you like this video, click the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I hope it helped you. Brokerage versus trucking company. It's great content. I think it's very valuable on which one you should do, what the risks are involved, and where you might want to go, why you might not want to go somewhere, in which area you want to roll. So catch me on the next one, guys. I really appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate all of the support, all of the comments. Really do, guys. So look forward to the next video, and let me know if you need anything. Thanks.